Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And yes, it's a bad hair day, I'm afraid. Okay, get over it. It's been cut on Saturday. Now, on a more serious note, I put up a video last night or yesterday, your time, on the 2019 channel, which showed or gave examples of how badly the police act in South Africa. And here we now have a report which involves a Unisa law professor and the way he was treated by the Metro Police. It's quite extraordinary. The Tshwane Metro Police Department has again been accused of executing a violent, unlawful arrest, this time to a German-born Unisa law professor. Professor André Thomashausen, Professor Emeritus of International Law at Unisa and former director of the Institute of Foreign and Comparative Law, was arrested by 3 Tshwane Metro police officers late on Tuesday night, as he and his wife and 2 visitors from Germany were heading to his home in Centurion after attending a dinner in Johannesburg. What followed was an hours-long ordeal that has upset one of his visitors so much she wants to leave the country immediately. His other guest is a retired board member of Daimler AG in Stuttgart, Germany. According to Thomashausen, who has drawn up a detailed affidavit of the events, his wife was driving as he had had 2 glasses of wine at the event. As they were driving down Alexander Road in the direction of Boerta Avenue in Centurion, a vehicle overtook them in the left lane. Thomashausen said, "It startled me as I became aware of it. As I looked out of my left window, the car suddenly switched blue lights on and the driver signaled us with very forceful hand gestures to stop. Thomashausen's wife pulled over and he rolled down his window to inquire why they were being pulled over. According to Thomashausen, the driver of the police van shouted at him to get out of the car. I asked him to identify himself. He got out of the car and so did 2 other young male persons. 2 were wearing bulletproof vests, with the other wearing a green luminous vest. While one of the officers spoke to his wife on the other side of the car, agreeing that she could pull the vehicle up to a security barrier manned by a local private security team. On Thomashausen's side of the car, an extremely agitated man wearing the luminous green vest demanded that we drive to the Littleton police station after I asked to be allowed to do that. The 3 officers then got back into their vehicle, but because his wife didn't hear his conversation with the officer, as she was being instructed to pull into Bruce Street by another officer, she slowly started to drive into the turn-off lane. At this point, the apparent police van accelerated violently with tires screeching past my vehicle and cut in front of it to the right to block the way. Thomashausen says, "My wife was forced to do an emergency braking so as not to drive into the van in front. All 3 occupants of the apparent police van jumped out and tore at my vehicle's doors. I locked my door, but my wife's door on the driver's side was flung open, and one of the men in bulletproof vests ripped the keys from the ignition and tore my wife out of the seat by her arm. She screamed in fear and anguish." When Thomashausen attempted to film the incident using his cell phone, one of the officers allegedly reached into the car to grab the device. At this point, the officer in the yellow vest tried to pull my arm out through the half-open window and swore at me, saying, "I will teach you what I can do to you, you white racist." This is the police in South Africa we're talking about here. I raised my voice and told him that he could lose his job for what he was doing. He reached deeper into the car, let go of my cell phone and activated the button to unlock the door. Thomashausen was then pulled from the car, arrested and put in the back of the police van. The officer said, before closing and locking the door, "When we get to Sunnyside, we will teach you a lesson you will never forget, you white shit." Now, isn't that hate speech? Shouldn't this be before the South African Human Rights Commission? But no, if you're black, you cannot be racist. That's the problem. Anyway, let's continue with the story. The officer then allegedly threw the keys of his vehicle on the ground in the direction of his wife. Thomashausen said, "The van then drove off at a high speed, blue lights flashing. I held on by pushing my legs against the side of the van, but eventually hit my nose on a sharp metal edge, sustaining a bleeding cut. His wife and friends followed the police van." Thomashausen was eventually taken to the Littleton police station, where he was charged in a process that took more than 3 hours. According to him, this was because of ongoing arguments between the Metro police officers and the South African Police Service officers. He said, "I understood that they were arguing about the content and who would sign as arresting officer. I overheard the Metro policemen refusing to give their identities and personnel numbers to the South African Police Service colleagues and telling them that they had the right to transfer me to Sunnyside Police Station. The South African Police Service's sergeant on duty seemingly refused to agree to a transfer. After a South African Police Service colonel and later a brigadier intervened, Thomashausen was released on bail of 500 Rand at about 5:30 a.m. on Wednesday. So he had been apprehended by the police for over 6 hours, right through the night. He was charged with assaulting a police officer, crimen injuria, and intimidation. Now, where have we heard that word crimen injuria before? Oh, that's right, Vicky Momberg. Remember that? Vicky Momberg. Well, soon, hopefully, we're going to have Vicky Momberg on a live stream here on the Loving Life channel. Okay, and that's going to be a mind-blowing live stream, believe me. Thomashausen was still reeling from the ordeal. He said, "My one friend has already been traumatized and wants to leave the country immediately. The names of the arresting officers, South African Police Service Sergeant, Colonel and Brigadier, are known to authorities." Tshwane Metro Police spokesperson, Senior Superintendent Isaac Mahamba, told the paper, "We are aware as this department about this incident that took place on the mentioned dates and times. We are yet to obtain statements from the affected members as they were still to report for duty. At the moment they are on rest days. We will be able to comment further as soon as we have obtained statements and have facts. The matter has been investigated and the department will provide feedback once we have more information about the incident." Thomashausen appeared in the Pretoria Magistrates Court on Thursday, where the charges against him were withdrawn. "I am quite relieved," he said following his appearance. "I have been told that the officers are now being investigated. I have always been very positive about South Africa, and I'm happy with the way the Metro Police are handling the issue." Now, this is what happens to so many white South Africans. It's a wake-up call, if you wish. You know, they think everything is fine until this sort of shit happens to them. And that's when a lot of people, like this professor, say, enough's enough, and they get out of the country. That's the reality. They kind of got the blinkers on. It's not until it happens to them that they realize something is really wrong. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that, but just another example of the police in South Africa behaving badly, and it happens all the time. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed, ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video, please share this video, and above all, please stay safe. Bye for now.